So we worked through the volume formulas for our different three-dimensional shapes. So here's the worksheet I want you to do. I'm going to work through a couple problems just to get you started and to help you think through the idea. So it says name the solid, shade the base of the solid. I think this is really important because sometimes we get mixed up what's the base and then we end up using the wrong height for different things. There's the height of the actual solid, and then there's the height of the base. Same thing when you get into base times height or stuff like that. So we'll find the area of the base, find the volume. For spheres, you don't need to find the area of the base because there is no base. So let's get started. I put all the different formulas here for you to reference. So let's go ahead and look at this first one. Number one, we want to name this first. So let's go ahead and name it. We see this as a prism because it has the two triangles that are congruent and parallel to each other. So this is a triangular prism. Shade in the base. So I'm going to shade in the base here. Maybe I'll do it with a highlighter. Maybe not. So here's a base. And here's the base. I want to be careful here that I don't cross everything out, but those are the two bases. Next, we wanted to write the formula of the volume. So the volume of a prism, I'm just going to end up using letters here. Volume of the prism equals area of the base, so capital B, that's area of the base, times the height of the base. Height of the prism. So let's go ahead and find the area of the base first. So this shape is a triangle. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 B times H. And this is where the trouble comes in. These two H's do not represent the same thing. So we have to be careful as we work through this. This first H in our main problem, and I mentioned it's the height of the prism, but now that we're finding area, this H here is the height of the triangle. So please be very careful. That happens with trapezoids also, that sometimes people get stuck on. So these heights are not the same. So let's continue finding the area of this triangle. It's 1/2 the base of the triangle. If you need to, you can try to rewrite this triangle so it's kind of facing you here. This is the 3.7. This one's pretty obvious, I think. This is 3.7 inches, and the base is 12 inches. So we see, remember, base is always perpendicular to height, so our base is 12 inches, and our height is 3.7 inches. And so we just need to multiply that to get 22.2. So the area of the triangle is 22.2 inches squared. All right, so we found the area of the base. Probably put this a little too close. Now we want to find our volume. So volume equals area of the base, which we just found. That's 22.2 times the height of the prism. So times 10, because here's the height of our prism. It's not the height of the triangle, it's the height of the prism. And that is times 10. And so volume is 222 inches cubed. We're going to move on to the next one, which is a trapezoid. Trapezoidal prism. This one we have to be careful with. So let's talk through what a prism is. A prism has two congruent parallel bases. So I'm going to start with what's not correct. You might see this top and this bottom, and you could say, well, those are parallel. But those are not the bases because they're not congruent. So what you might want to think of is if you lay this thing on end on the trapezoid, you would see that maybe a little better that that's the base. So our base here is actually the trapezoid. So that's a base, and then this is a base. So we shaded in our bases. Volume formula, volume, it's a pyramid. It's the area of the base times the height of the prism. So the base, we want to write the equation for area of the base. I'm going to give myself a little more room this time. The base is the trapezoid, the shaded in part. That's why we shaded it, so we could remember that. So the area of the trapezoid is, the formulas are above on your paper, but it's 1/2 the height. I'm going to do these in different colors. The height of the prism. Sorry, I just said that wrong. I'm saying things wrong. So this is 1/2 the height of the trapezoid times the two bases added together. So let's find this. This is equal to 1/2. And the height of the trapezoid is right here. Here's the height, which is 5.2. And then we're going to multiply that by the two bases of the trapezoid. Here's one base, which is 5 centimeters, plus the other base. The other base is this part up here, which doesn't say right there, but we can look over to the one across from it, and it is 11 centimeters. And so then we're going to multiply that out to get the area of the base. So we have 1/2 times 5.2 times 16. And we multiply all of that together to get 41.6. And that's in centimeters squared. So that's the area of our base. So we have volume equals area of the base, which is 41.6 centimeters squared, times the height of the prism. The height of the prism is always perpendicular to the base. So actually this is the height of the prism. Again, you can try to think of it standing on end, like standing on the trapezoid. So this height, it doesn't say it on this segment, but we look around our trapezoid and we see the height is 14. So that's where you really have to be careful with your different heights, the height of the prism and the height of the trapezoid. So we're going to go ahead and multiply those together, and we get our volume is equal to 582.4 centimeters cubed. So hopefully that helps as you work through volume of these different shapes. Number 3 kind of looks like it's leaning, but it's not, so that 6 is the height of the prism. Number 4, obviously it looks like a regular pentagon, so you'll use that. Coming down to, let's come down to one of these pyramids. So number 8, let's go to number 9. Number 9, we'll try a harder one for you here. So this is a pentagonal pyramid. The reason we know that is the base is a pentagon. And so the volume, well, let's color in the base here. The base is this pentagon down here. And so volume is equal to 1/3 area of the base times the height of the pyramid. So now we need to find the base. So let's come out here. put this in blue. So here's that base. The base is a pentagon. And we know area of a pentagon is 1/2 perimeter times apothem. And so we want to figure this out. 1/2 the perimeter. Well, each side here we see is 7. So the perimeter is 7 times 5. And then the apothem is 4.8. And we see that right here, scribbled over it some, but 4.8 is the apothem. And so we can multiply those together. And we get 84 inches squared. And now we want to plug that back into our formula. Volume is 1/3 the area of the base, which is 84 inches squared, times the height of the prism. Here we will see, do it in purple here. Here's the height of the prism. And so that is 11 inches. So and then we can multiply this out. We have 1/3 times the 84 times the 11. And that's 308 inches cubed. So hopefully that helps you as you work through here.